Right, so just a quick one again. Uh, as we've been seeing, the colour red upon our map with this lockdown. Spiritually, the colour red means love, passion, spirit, and the opposite meaning is psychology, which means danger. So at this present moment, we're being asked that, or told, or perceived that we're in the colour red, which is therefore danger. But when we're uh, how can you sing a song to save a brother or a sister? We have to look at it in a spiritual sense because this is a spiritual thing that's happening. It's also a psychological thing, but 90% of it is spiritual. So therefore, we have to look at on the side as that red is love, red is spiritual, red is giving, red as love spiritually as well, as we know, can lead to anger, because we're in a love hate relationship with ourselves, with others. But we can transcend and try to understand each other. Then we know the red is a colour of psychology, meaning anger or danger. It can be cancelled out simply by ascending spiritually and then saying, "What? There's no look, walk. Look, there's no need. There's no need to argue. There may be a time to debate. There may be a time to actually transcend and see this for what it is. That red is not a dangerous color as long as each spirit is checking each spirit. Spirit at the moment is something that we must perceive. So we have the ability to read spirit, and therefore we can check out whether people are stuck in psychology or whether they're trying to ascend into spirituality. To ascend into spirituality means we're looking out for each other. I know there's a lot of selfish gene going on about at the moment, which is psychology. Do you know what I mean? People see red, automatically go into defense mode, automatically go into attack mode at the same time. You know, I'm going to keep mine and you're going to have nothing of it. When you think spiritually, we ascend that you can have something that I can have. Do you know what I mean? Which might be my knowledge that I'm just sharing. It could be, if you heard the old saying, if that geezer there, see that geezer there, if you had a pound, he'd give you 50 pence. That's kind of like the spiritual aspect of what I'm talking about, the colour red. Some people, you might say, see that geezer there, if he had a pound, he'd probably give you 1 pence out of the 99 pence. Out of the, not 1 pence, and keep himself 99 pence. Then we're stuck in a philosophical question. Do you know what I mean? Is it, how can I put it? Is it selfish to be selfish? Do you know what I mean? For greed, greed is also a colour, do you know what I mean, which we call red. People either get psychologically or spiritually wrapped up in the colour red. Should I keep all my greed and not share it? But a lot of people are misunderstanding that. Basically, in philosophy, these colours mean spirituality. Now, you don't need to give your money away or go. We can say going into the red in money. Do you know what I mean? Yes, we go from red to green, colours never to be seen. Because sometimes you can't see yourself going into the red, so you can't give away all your money. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, but you can share your money or put your money to some good use to try and ascend other people up with you. Do you know what I mean? Make money work for you. Do you know what I mean? Don't you work for the money, which is very easily done when we add spirit and take away the psychological part of it. Do you know what I mean? That obviously, if I give a little piece of myself away, I'm obviously attaining psychological income. I'm obviously attaining spiritual income. So you're winning both times on that aspect. I knew by looking at the map that red and yellow were the next colours I had to go on because, as I said in one of my other videos, baby blue means peace, or Carillion, add fire means Luciferian. Obviously, the peacekeeping beats Luciferian. On the white, white is peace. All colours come out of white. Black is one end of the spectrum, white is the other. So, what colour am I talking about now? Red. So, if we add black to red, we end up with black or red. Black means woman, red means love. Do you know what I mean? Spiritually, or black means man. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, because man has to control the night as well as day. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so the red means day just because of the spirituality of it, love. So you're going to retain love from a man in the day. You're going to retain love from a man in the night. You're going to retain love from the woman in the day. You're going to retain love from the woman in the night. the only way you create danger and anger is by your relationship or your relationship with others, between the opposite sex or between the same sex. If we start to become jealous, which is another color. But for now, I'm going to arrange orange, these two colors up, which is separate because orange is a separate color. Do you know what I mean? If a color at all. Because we need red and yellow to fit together. And this is how red and yellow fit together. It is in the rainbow, actually orange. And this is how red and yellow, red fits together, the color red. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Is the next one is yellow, which I'm going to do a video on as well. But for red, for now, spiritually, it means love. It means ascending in love and spirituality. Heart, your heart's always red. Do you know what I mean? It makes sense. Psychologically, it means danger. Now, you're not going to go and eat something that is red, but you'll eat a strawberry or a tomato. Do you know what I mean? Because therefore, in the past, it had been checked. Do you know what I mean? There was animism into shamanism, into sorry, if we go back before that, it even ends up being, what's the Australian ones, aboriginalism. Well, it was original to eat a strawberry because somebody had to try it. Do you know what I mean? You know, and therefore we learned along the way, which is psychology. But that's what sheds light upon the spirit. It's like, don't touch that. You know, I'll put something in my pocket. I've missed it now. Something that the birds eat, and they look like red little balls that the birds eat, and they're usually orange. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, as they lose some of their hue throughout the summer and stuff like that. But the birds already know at the end of the day that they share the same, which is augury. The birds share the same fruit or share the same seed. It goes from red to orange. First of all, we have to check whether the birds or augury or people are using the same spiritual essence as what nature gave us, which is therefore that spirituality is, first of all, a colour, because we can all agree that colours exist. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, because we don't see them black and white no more, to see one end of the spectrum to the other. If we add white to red, we end up with pink, which is a difference. Pink means flower, but I'll do a video on that later. If we add white, where was I then? Red to pink. Lost where I was now. So let's go back there to red. So red is spiritual, and remember, it needs love, and then love sometimes can bring anger. We hear this saying, love and hate. I love you, but I hate you. So, how does that work? Because the psychology comes into it. It's like, really, I don't like how you're psychologically treating me now, or whatever. Or actually, it's the person psychologically treating themselves through their lack of spiritual awareness or blindness, which we all fall far short of. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, as we are told by certain different scripture and stuff like that. So flew off the handle a bit there, but it all comes off cuff. Going to try and put this together in a psychological versus spiritual, and a psychological and spiritual combination. So therefore, we can see ahead, see in the now. This has been done. It's on the internet there, but we have to use white and black as the two ends of the spectrum. Any colour that you add black to ends up black. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, any colour that you add white to ends up white. So white and black are the two ends of the spectrum. Everything in between, we can add different equations. Now, usually we add two colours. Do you know what I mean? It's the simplest way to add colours together. Do you know what I mean? We know this through primary colours, as we do painting, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But we always mix two colours. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And when we mix two colours together, not the whole picture is there. There's a lot of debate, like adding green and black together. You know, you can add white and green together. We end up in a lime greeny colour. Do you know what I mean? But these are the things I'm going to be working on the next few days. So as we come in from our masks, the masquerade, we're using white as peace. We're using blue as peace. I think it's Calerian is the actual etymological word, and the real name for baby blue, which is 13. You have 12 astrological signs, and you're in the middle. So therefore, it's peacekeeping and peacekeeping. So it's righteousness, and righteousness always overcomes. To get righteousness and righteousness, you might need spirituality mixed with psychology. Therefore, to mix the two colours or the same colour into the same thing to understand self. Do you know what I mean? That's why we see red. Do you know what I mean? Which can mean anger. We also see red when we see love. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, or our description of love. So just because of where we are at the moment in our national lockdown and that, we wear this peacekeeper mask or not. Do you know what I mean? It's a representation of peacekeeping. Do you know what I mean? So now we are in lockdown areas of red. If we look at the map, we also have been there with politics with red and blue and red back home. Do you know what I mean? Which is usually the two top parties, which makes purple, which is a different colour. So I'm going to be working through these colours with my next videos to bring psychological and spiritual awareness to how we represent ourselves and to how we represent the time and scale that we are in. I'm watching the chase at the moment. Red and green, red and blue are usually the two colours, but in the background you'll always see purple. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, which is a mix of indigo and violet, which are very spiritual colours. Do you know what I mean? So there's a description there on the television. Just take heed of what you're seeing in the adverts, what you're seeing on the television, what you're seeing in some of these game shows. Game means mage. So these people that do create television, they know exactly what they're up to. They're not here to do your head in. It's how, therefore, you perceive the two psychological colours or spiritual colours. You can answer the question spiritually or psychologically. You've already got the answer. Do you know what I mean? If you're educated enough, or somehow you make a guess, which might be a spiritual guess, or it's from the subliminal, you know. So the red means love. It means light. Do you know what I mean? Because all colours come from white light, or let's say black light, dark plasma, or white plasma. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got blue veins, but yeah, I bleed red, and we all do. Just a skin creed or colour or culture. Do you know what I mean? These how we transcend these borders into universal colours. Do you know what I mean? So the colour that I'm on about at the moment is red. Red means love. It means compassion. It means empathy. It means all the good words that go with love. Do you know what I mean? We could go on for hours if we were speaking about what was and what wasn't. But let's just take it meaning love, yeah. On the flip, it means anger, yeah, because love can make you angry. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, in the psychological version of it. Do you know what I mean? So you combine the two together. Spirituality brings balance. A lot of what's going on is spiritual, so therefore, we'll stick with the color red as a good color. Psychologically, we might have to slow down, is which what we're doing now in a lockdown. It's like there's something wrong here, bigger than all of us. We have to get spiritually together and overcome this. And the psychology part of it is with our COVID laws and how we use psychology and spirituality. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, but there have been the heads of religious orders sort of come together to try and push this peacekeeping further on. Now that we can see that to go one route would be wrong, to go the other route would be wrong, that there has to be a mesh. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I could bring like in, like let's say psychopathology, do you know what I mean? Which is a part of psychology. Now that part of psychology, or these people who think that they're in this area, don't really necessarily look at the spiritual realm, or they put this part of psychology into dark. They're not light. Do you know what I mean? When the two things combine, do you know what I mean? You can't be evil all the time, and you can't be good all the time. Do you know what I mean? So therefore, we have to have a certain balance. I think understanding these colours, something that I worked out about 20 years ago through study of chromatics. I'm just coming forth back into it now, especially with a lot of women going into religious orders and religious institutions and non-affiliated religious perceptions. Do you know what I mean? Your will, intellect, and soul all depend upon your spiritual and psychological approach to how we combine these colours and how we perceive them, and therefore how we perceive others, and therefore explain our emotions, our feelings, and our future perceptions. Not just, even though, because we might not be here tomorrow, but our future perceptions counts, because if I throw a future perception, I've just let it go into the universe now. Do you know what I mean? And these things have been carrying on and on and on and on throughout time until we've followed that a bit more psychologically than spiritually. It's like we've sort of lost the spiritual path on this angle, but they both mix in together. Do you know what I mean? News anyway. So there's the end of my video there. I should be getting back onto you with colours. I'm going to try and combine the lot into certain twos at the moment. It also works in a Tesla. If anybody wants to jump ahead on me and nick any of this, as in Neo 369, you can use the Tesla equation of where everything adds up to 9. So therefore, use 3 colors and then see what you see. Do you know what I mean? But it all comes spiritually, and then self must be the next equation into this the Tesla colors, if you'd like to say. But as you know, there's 7 colors, which is 3.5. The 0.5 plus 0.5 equals 1. Do you know what I mean? So you can only be really one color. You're best checking off that with your astrological chart. Do you know what I mean? Or what star sign you're born under, which is usually tied into a color. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and that would express I'm Aries, so red all day. Do you know what I mean? You know, so not it is the best color, and it isn't the best color. Do you know what I mean? But it's putting the two together and realizing that love transcends everything, but so does anger. Do you know what I mean? If you're in the wrong situation around the wrong people, and I can make people very angry very quickly with the truth. Do you know what I mean? But how I spiritually balance them is using the ears. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, for the eyes that can see and the ears that hear, is one perception on how we're going to work these colours forward from baby blue, peacekeeping, Carillion, add fire is Luciferian, so now we know we're fighting by peacekeeping and peacekeeping. Red is the next colour because we're all in red lockdown. Do you know what I mean? If we go back to the start of our lockdown, we ended up in the colour red. Full scale red lockdown, which means love. You must love each other. And we're going to get angry. We're going to get down. We're going to be fuming. Do you know what I mean? You know, these things are natural unless we balance it out spiritually and love ourselves. And therefore, if we love ourselves, it rubs off on every brother and sister around us, creature, animal, plant, whatever, anything in nature, as long as you're letting off the right vibe, do you know what I mean? Which is positive when we tie the two together. And everything works within that realm, do you know what I mean? Or within that perception. You know, we can't just go anger all the time. There has to be love mixed with anger. So if we combine the two and try and get to this middle, and we've got top, middle, and bottom, or is it median, mean, and I forgot the other one. I haven't researched it there quick enough on science. If we were going to use a scientific approach, just like the government is at this present moment, then colours become very scientific. So at the moment, we're in lockdown, we're in red, so stay loved up, stay happy, stay thinking about others, stay thinking about yourself, stay thinking about that, not just us in the UK, everywhere in the global world. Do you know what I mean? You don't know how the butterfly effect works, or because everybody knows these same colours. So it falls into the butterfly effect, or on what vibes you're giving out, or what auras you're giving out. Do you know what I mean? Your auras could change, or you could have no auras. Just black and white doesn't change. These are the questions that were asked by the chessboard on how to squash these 2, 3, or maybe 4, or the whole 7 perceptions of colours of the rainbow together, and therefore come out with answers. So I should be working on that, and I should be get back to. I've been working on a lot lately, haven't I? You know, but we keep going progressive. We keep thinking. We keep folding into this. Now it's become more spiritual. Now I've noticed other people doing other threads and other posts, and even they're declaring that it's spiritual. People that might not believe in God, people that don't believe in God, but noticing that there is a spiritual connection in this, whether it be knowledge, whether it be no knowledge, whether it be how do we bring people into balance, or all of us and nature into balance. Do you know what I mean? Because it's, I'm going to go a bit off stray here, but the colour green. The green is heart, it's compassion. It's the same as red. But also green is the colour of money. Everyone wants dollar bills, you want, and to be what do you call it, greedy. Do you know what I mean? Or money is usually evil or the jealous eye. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the more money you got, the more jealous you become, and that, or the less money you have, the more jealous you become. But try and add black to green, you just become more and more dark green, which is evergreen. To be evergreen means that it must fold into red. Do you know what I mean? Because you go into the red, don't you spend so much money, and therefore money in itself is not the root of all evil, as long as you're sharing, caring, and basically looking after yourself and not living beyond your means. I wasn't going to go into green, not living beyond your means, and which is not going on your means is the medium. I have to put this together scientifically as well, from a scientific angle: spiritual, psychological, and scientific. Uh, Three things. When I look back at this video as well, shout out to Sandra Droy, shout out to Brian Harvey, shout out to Sean Outwood, shout out to Brian G, Darren G, shout out L5 Alive people, where it's all kicked off, thinking us nutters are going to kick off on each other. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I shouted at Sean Outwood once over a key. I thought, well, I'm a convict. I'd have definitely had that key. Do you know what I mean? I shouted at a woman or picked on a woman. That was like, well, hold on, Sean. That woman didn't nowhere have enough time to explain the whole dimension concept and spiritual awareness of what was actually going on and is actually going on. We had, what was it? Nobody did a 3-part on Sandra Droy. Do you know what I mean? You did a 3-part with Darren G, but not with Sandra Droy. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So how are we meant to explain one aspect of it? Do you know what I mean? To the spiritual aspect of it with the criminal aspect of it. Do you know what I mean? Which people find more fascinating, and criminality sells, whereas spirituality doesn't, in a way, or as big a way as it should sell, because it does fold into a lot of these criminal aspects. Do you know what I mean? That a lot of the criminals trying to do good have had a spiritual enlightenment in some kind of way, shape, or form. The first time, now people are calling Sean out with the shield. I wasn't calling him out as a shield. I was just saying you should have got that key. I wasn't calling Sandra Droy out as a shield or whatever. Like, I was calling her out as, you should have explained more, woman. Do you know what I mean? You know. But I understand it would have needed about 50 Sean Outwood interviews to even get into Sandra's perception. Do you know what I mean? And then the next one, and then the next one, to actually understand all this. Oh, look at that. And it even looks madder than that when we put Darren G into the mix. He's running around churches and stuff like that and being spiritually enlightened. You're not going to beat the righteous folk, people. I know a lot of these criminals are back online and all that, and they're backed. And Darren G's calling out a few of them. L5 Alive people, choose a knife, not a knife. Choose a life, not a knife. It's becoming back to red. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And this is how it works. Okay. The spiritualness that we're trying to get out, there's no way getting no more attention, well, enough attention as on these mainstream, like, let's call it mainstream YouTube channels, such as Sean, Respect to You and the Wild Man and all that, RIP. That's going to take time before we get this balance right. Do you know what I mean? On how to become across as if, like, I feel a bit crap because I shot 7 people. Do you know what I mean? And it's, well, no, it had to happen for a reason, for us to become spiritually awake on actually how horrible we treat each other at the end of the day, but not each other. It affects the whole universe and the whole shape of the plasma that fires through the universe, and the ether and the electric and the whole wave of some higher force, basically. Do you know what I mean? So back to the colour red, showing love to these people because it's all kicked off now. I thought it would kick off. I was arguing before it had even happened. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I've apologised to both people concerned. Do you know what I mean? One person, which was the female, did not get enough time, space, energy, affection, and love shown her way to actually be understood, because we are the Minority Report. And on the other hand, one geezer got shown a lot of love, a lot of affection, and they just want to knock them down. Now he's been able to pull out the spirit of these people and identify them for who they are. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, which is not attacking upon everybody. It's just these people can see and pick out who's being false, who isn't. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know a lot of criminals have jumped on board and gone, yeah, we're all going to be good now. But shouting about, I did this, I did that, I did this, the other, start getting on the spiritual side of it. What could I have done to prevent it? What could I have done to think in that different way? What wasn't in my life at the time? What didn't I understand universally? What do I not understand universally now? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, because we're all in a minority report, whether you like it or not. It's just some people are actually love to revel in this crap. Do you know what I mean? And see people that are in the minority report or in the positive possibility fail because there's so much negativity about. And now we can see it's not, as we see the colour red all over the country. Do you know what I mean? The day before lockdown, red means peace, love, unity, community. Postcode lockdown, do you know what I mean, as well? It's got 6 figures. 6 is usually the selfish gene. If you're going to be selfish as a community, start thinking community wise. Do you know what I mean? How you can help one another. Gone are the days when you used to go to your neighbour for a cup of sugar. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment, like, well, I've only got, I've got to get mine from the whatever that place where you get a bag from, or a free bag of food. Or there's even people with jobs that are now collecting it. Do you know what I mean? Which is appalling at the end of the day. But so we've come out of austerity into Erasmus. Now we're in the area of Erasmus politically. Okay, yeah, this keeps looking terrible. This doesn't it? Hey, looks like a right male chauvinist. Do you know what I mean? So we'll use this one. And now we're in the area of Erasmus. Erasmus meaning love, and therefore red fits it perfectly upon what spiritual side we're looking at, which would be the love, and the anger is coming out via as we look around, to step outside and see where the anger and where who's doing the anger. Therefore, we're able to pick these people out by reading their spirit, basically. So I'll get on this over the next few days. Not really many subscriptions. I know it's getting out there. I know my channel is blocked sometimes, muted sometimes. I know there's certain laws I haven't read, and I don't really want to read your laws. At the end of the day, freedom of speech is something that should happen anywhere, especially when we're thinking atavistic, that there's certain spirits and stuff about that do not want you to think, or depression may occur. Do you know what I mean? It's all in lyrics and that before. All in life that's happened before. If we're thinking it, we should be able to speak it. It's putting it in context and then speaking it in context. As I said, I usually just go straight off the cuff, but to understand me a bit more and to understand myself a bit more, because I've already done this work before, I'm going to have to go back and put it into context, not politically, do you know what I mean, but psychologically, spiritually, and the middle bit is self, to understand self, and therefore you're able to read whether people are being spiritually and psychology and can mesh the two together. That doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. I've seen a recent survey saying that spiritually enlightened people think they're 50% better than anybody else, and spiritually enlightened people who have been educated spiritually think they're 67% better than anybody else. Magical numbers, or what? 6 and 7 is an American number. I think come this on my last video, 67. Donald Trump had 67 witnesses. 50-50 is usually a Hegelian dialect. Do you know what I mean? Red and blue, 50-50. It's not until we close these two things together that we start to make shape and form over our actual spirit realm, and making sense of what this world actually is, and what this universe and what this life is. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, which is not really absorbing all that anger and badness, and all the information is usually bad, negative, until we start to flip some of the colours and some of the wording as well used. Do you know what I mean? As well, you know what I mean? Pay close attention to the words that are used in inverted commas. We've usually got a double meaning, a Hegelian dialect, or the truth is in there. The truth is in us, people, and that's how it works. So we're sticking with the colour red. Red means love, and anything else which you'd like to extend with love. Hate only comes into it through your psychology. So you need to take a good look in the mirror if you're hating on people. Just because you're going red in the face Blushing, feeling embarrassed. That's just an emotion, people. Do you know what I mean? You're blushing, you feel embarrassed, or going rosy cheek for a reason. That's because you've got empathy and compassion in you spiritually. Do you know what I mean? And other spiritualists are able to read this. Do you know what I mean? If you purely go red in your face, start losing it, smashing the flat up, then you need your head looking at, really, and there's no spirituality in you, or you haven't actually looked at the spiritual side of yourself. So that's where I'll leave it. Start looking at colours, spirituality, psychology, self, and on a global, communal, local, national, self, family, community, city, nation, globe, world, universe, galaxy. That's the kind of thing we're dealing with when we do express our own auras and our own reflections of the world. And we're non-dual, so everything's dual around us, so we have to interact with things. How we interact with these things, some know, some don't. I've been going along flowing, but now I've had to go back to 20 years of research to start back up at colours, just because I can see them all flying through the TV at me again. So old type people, we're in the red zone. Red means love, spirituality, psychology, it means anger. They're going to be pressing your buttons. Ignore the crap that presses your buttons. If they're pressing your buttons, it's to knock the spirit out of you. Okay, so high spirits. We've just come out of Christmas. We just entered the new year. We want high spirits. Thank you, people. So light blue, remember, Corellian. Add fire, makes it Luciferian. We got double side, which is white, which means peace as well. So double peace always beats any bad spirituality. Red as well as love. Even if you've got anger in there, you've got far more aspects of love than just the one anger part of psychology. Do you know what I mean? You know, seeing red. So we're winning anyway. So I'm going to do red for now. Start forming my own channel back out again, and obviously fighting a lot more than what I have been over these past so many decades, and that, and trying to assist where I can. Okay, thank you, people. Take care. As we can see there, there's one book missing right in the middle there, above Unconventional Wisdom, and which one is it? The Book of Taliesin. I want to leave that one as a clue. All right. Ciao.